this meeting and all other meetings of this council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, so the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of the meeting. We'll start with a roll call.
We have Nadowski on the phone, Rasmussen,
Here.
Kempf,
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to the second item on our agenda is to approve the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting on July 6th, 2015, and the Joint Public Works and Finance Committee meeting on July 13th.
So move.
So moved. I'll second. All in favor? Say aye. 3 ayes. Third item, citizen appearances. We have none. Item number 4, discussion on city logo clothing program.
we brought this item up. We've talked about it over the years, or not over the year, I should say. We had a couple quotes from 3 or 4 local companies within 10-15 miles of here. We got quotes on the polo shirts. We had a competitive quote. What we found was Dockside Designs was one of the more competitive local quotes. When it came to long sleeve dress shirts, what I believe at that point, Scott, you had mentioned that EDI does work with World Class and comes up here with shirts. What we found there was their long sleeve dress shirts were more competitive by about $20 a shirt than what we could get locally. We did have some discussion on city employees getting clothing issued to them. We also had discussion on, at some point, expanding this to the city council. At this point, we've gotten samples from EDI, and we haven't placed the order for the city shirts yet. But in speaking with the mayor, he had mentioned locally he has gotten some new shirts recently from Dockside, and he'd like the item to be discussed on where we purchased the polo shirts from. And on my end, the direction we got was to buy them. I don't know that specifically the motion said who to go through. So I just
we never
was hoping to check with, get some clarification on.
If I may, Keith, are you hearing me?
Can you hear the mayor, Keith? Okay.
Okay, I guess my biggest issue is if the city is gonna do some business, they better be doing it local. And we have a place in town that does that business, and it just would be wrong, if, as far as I'm concerned, to go out of town to buy something when it can be done right in town. The city is trying to promote business in the city, try to put business in Main Street, try to put business in Industrial Park. And if we turn around and go to Milwaukee or wherever to go buy something when we have exactly the same business in town, I think it's just wrong. In fact, I would veto anything like that. I would fight that tooth and nail to go out of town. And I'll agree that maybe prices are different, but I work for CHS and I got shirts right here that I brought them just so you guys could look. And they're very competitive. All the shirts I got here are anywhere from
Same shirt.
same thing.
Port Authority.
Yeah.
Anywhere from $22 to $28. That's with our names on them and a logo on them. And I just think it's wrong to go out of town. I agree 100% we should get shirts, and if somebody wants them, maybe the council could have one, but I think our employees should have them. I would like one myself. I'll pay for it myself, but once that logo is established at a place, to get repeat business is just real simple. Call them up, tell them you need another shirt, and tell them the color and the size, and an hour later go pick it up so she can put it in her computer and it'll stitch them out. Me working for the co-op, she makes thousands of them for the co-op. And we love them all. They're good quality shirts. They're good work shirts, and she has some pretty nice dress shirts. I guess that's my whole speech is, if you're gonna do it, you better do it local. I mean, this is bringing up old stuff, but it's gonna be a long time before you guys are forgiven for what you did to Gratian and garbage trucks, and if we turn around and do something like that again, it's not, it's a real black eye for the city council, I would think. Word gets out that that was done, and I think we'd be very sorry for doing it. That's all I got to say.
One of the things we could probably do is check back with locally on the long sleeve shirts, because the quote that we had on the polo type shirt was $20 to $25, which I think is a pretty competitive price.
Here, look at these.
But
These are nice
but the
shirts.
quote we got on long sleeve shirts from them locally in writing was like $45 to $50 per shirt. So maybe there's something we can do on that end to bring that price
I
down.
like these shirts.
And that's where,
That's a-
These are
Sure.
$22.
Yep.
That's mine right there.
Yep.
Who makes that? Who makes that shirt? Cornerstone.
Right on the tag it should have, yeah.
Cornerstone.
No, look at it. It's just as good as what you got on. Not knocking that, but. What do you think, Mike?
As far as for the employees, I agree. But I just can't see right now spending cameras on.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
just can't
mean,
see,
I'm
I
just-
can't see spending that right now for the way everything is going for council people at this time, but I can see the city employees, yes, definitely.
Didn't we say the council was gonna buy their own?
And we never really got on, we were gonna get
We
the,
never really
no.
picked a,
you get the employee ones first.
right, we wanted the
Yes,
employees
the employees.
we wanted the
Right.
employees to get one first.
Yeah,
And
then
we
you take a
wanted
look
them
at
to,
them.
we wanted them to wear them and then tell us what they felt about them,
Yep.
is what we said.
I would like to get one, but I would definitely pay for it myself.
We'll take a look with the polos. The price was just about the same locally. I think, like I said, the big thing that I think steered the conversation was those long sleeve shirts being double if we bought them locally.
I guess my question
but we
is,
keep it with polos too,
What
you know.
quality shirt? You could buy a $25 or a $50 shirt either way and it'd be the
Yeah.
same shirt. I just, my question is, what quality shirt did she start off showing you? Because when I asked her about, I know, well, I've got long sleeve ones just like that.
Mhm.
And we get 6 free ones and then we gotta buy them. I'm paying $22 for these.
Yep.
And it's a good quality shirt.
The first order for sure, when we looked at I think it was 3 each for the 3 office staff. And I think the intent with that was we were gonna look at polo shirts. We weren't gonna look at long sleeve shirts at all right away, so maybe the long sleeve can be the revaluation, or you could take a
Well,
look at
depends
it
on what
later.
somebody wants to wear, right?
Can you just have her come over here with a variety of shirts and sit with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becky,
Oh, yeah.
Katrina, bring in the street guys already got,
Logo, yep,
they already got these, but I mean, if they would want one of them for themselves with the city logo, I don't know if you'd have them wearing that city logo when they went somewhere, but
yeah,
they
they
already
could like
have
training
that,
or something.
right. But if somebody wanted it, they could at least give their opinion on it, yes. And yourself, and then
Yep.
have Cindy go through some of the,
That's what I would say. If the
Yes.
girls go over there, or she'd come here, pick out what they like, and then,
yep,
you know.
and then let them go from there. And then let us know what they feel.
Sure.
But I agree with Jack. I hardly, 100%, I think that if the city starts going back out of town for things, I was very displeased with the garbage. We can't do that. You want to build all these buildings and build a city hall and everything, but yet you want people to support you, but we're not going to support the rest of the town? That doesn't look good. And I realize there's only one of them people here, but if you want to get prices somewhere else just to see that they are in line, go ahead and do that, but.
And that was basically the reason why I brought up EDI is because you've only got one show in town. So you want to balance it out so that you need to make a responsible decision based on other costs as well. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care where you get them from, as long as they just get the shirts to, to accentuate the role they play in city government,
And I
city
think,
employee.
I think when you start talking to a local person like that and telling them, well, we've been shopping around and this is what we found out, and you have it all laid out there, and you're matching shirt for shirt, she might be showing you a Granny Smith apple, and they might be showing you a Gala apple, two different things.
And there is between shirts,
Yeah.
you know and I know, there's a
Yes.
big difference as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that when you went out and bought a lawnmower a while back, you bought it locally because he was local. And he wasn't necessarily low bid.
Wasn't a little bit.
He wasn't a low bid, but
That's
you
right,
bought it
we
because it
did.
was a local business.
Exactly.
And that's the way to do it, and I think we gotta look at this thing the same way.
Yep.
All right, enough said, move
That's
on.
good. No, I appreciate it. Like I said, that was to clarify, and what we'll do is work off of what was mentioned here. So that's good.
So we have a logo and everything now, don't we? We have a logo.
Yeah,
We're
it's
just-
the
we're playing
horse and
with the
buggy
shit.
logo, and
Okay.
it's yeah. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Any comments or additions to that conversation at all, Keith?
No, I couldn't hear everything, but overall my feeling on it is I'm somewhat, indifferent. I guess, if the prices are close, we go local. If the long sleeve shirt's the only thing that's out of whack, then I think maybe we just talk to them about that and see what kind of, work they can give us on it, because once we have the logo there, I'm sure they'll get more than enough business out of us, so.
Well, sure, then we'll start looking at shirts or windbreakers, pullovers, whatever. Once that computer
Yep.
program, as the mayor said, is in her system, she can stitch it on anything.
Yeah, so the way I figure it is, it may be a little off or whatever just on the one, but, we can always talk to her down the road and see what we can work out.
I agree. All right, well, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. The update, discussion and possible action on C-15 municipal building project pay request. Number one for $119,753.20.
As a reminder, contract A, B, C, 15, all three of those, we had mentioned we were going to break with your past policy of just approving the final pay request, and because the two projects are very large, we're gonna have every pay request come through committee. This is the first pay request for City Hall, and you will see detail, it's 4 pages long. Again, $119,753.20, and it is broken out exactly. If you look at the continuation sheets, which are 2, 3, and 4, columns D and E will show you how much you've paid for in the past on each item and what is being billed. The E is this period, that's what's on this bill. Every month you're going to get a pay request, and every month it's going to come to your committee before we pay the bill. And again, that is number 1 for A15, C15, which is the municipal building, the City Hall project with AMO. Any questions?
I did. I saw safety and small tools listed on here for over $3,000. Then I saw hoist and lifting equipment, and I highlighted that at $3,500. But then I thought, I bet they're probably leasing that or renting. They're probably renting something there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
And if
why would that be extra?
It would be, so this is all part of their bid, and what you'll see then for actually column C shows you the scheduled value, so it will tell you
So this
how
is
much is going to be charged to you for the life of the project.
on total, in
Yep.
total.
And then E, then a lot of these items, it may have for the life of the project,
I see they're breaking it.
32,000. A lot of these things, if they look out for 10 months, it'll be 1/10
Okay.
or 1/11. They'll break it out where you might get billed the solid amount.
I understand now.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, so they do turn in these pay requests. Cedar has Bruce and Thad, Bruce is the guy that's in, he was here earlier this evening, but he's the guy that's more on site. And then Thad is
we met him.
in as well. They review all of this. There was one thing that Cedar had adjusted a little bit on this one. There was one for Myron for the treatment plant too. They adjusted a little bit. But these are reviewed. Cedar Corp has recommended to approve it. They sign off on it too, so Thad's got a signature on there. That's something that you'll see.
Yep.
And then upon approval, then usually we sign it, and then it goes from there.
So this is actually a breakdown of their bid. And then they're just showing.
They're billing you.
Billing
Yeah.
you as you use that
Yep.
portion.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've got that for, you had it on B15, which was with DeGroot, with 3rd Avenue.
Yep.
And then you have it with Myron too. So it shows you every bid item on here, and then as they're billing you off of that bid, then that's what it's showing.
Are you going to be keeping, a track of all the billing as it comes in yourself as the project goes?
This will be running totals on here every time
It
there's a
should be,
pay.
right.
There'll be a running total on here too.
Right, it should
Yep.
be.
Yeah, we've
Right.
got, there's a couple ways that we're keeping track of it over and above what we typically do. Because we took out the interim financing, and because we got to all of that money sent to us, we sent it into the, our main investments, the local government, LGIP investment pool. And we set up separate subclasses for treatment plant interim financing and city hall interim financing. And what we're doing is we dumped all the money into those codes, and then as these pay requests come out, we will draw, it's almost like a bank.
It's like a
We'll
brain
draw that much out too. We're also earning interest on that money that sits in the
Sure.
investment too.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got a couple ways that we're keeping track of this over and above too, so. Okay. So what we would need then
You
is.
need a motion to approve this so you can pay it.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve C15, $119,753.20.
Keith, Mike made the motion to pay. I'll second.
Second.
Keith, second too? We'll catch Keith's on there, is that okay? Your second or Keith? I think you both did.
Yeah, we both did.
We can mark Keith down.
Mark him, give him
We got
credit.
her.
Give him credit.
We'll recommend approval then of the pay request number 1. Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on. Item number 6 is the update on the municipal building furniture, lockers, and display cases.
yeah, so just a real quick update, there is nothing for you to review yet, but the furniture, the lockers and the display cases then would be probably the next level of items that we need to procure for the project after we did the technology last month. We do have 2 quotes that have been loosely given to us from 2 furniture companies. One's out of Weyauwega. Office Outfitters actually has given us a quote on office furniture. So, and then the other company that handed one in was Coakley and Brothers. It's the company that came in and helped move and put together this furniture. And oddly enough, the representative from Coakley is she worked for Johnson Insurance, and she walked in and she said, well, I bought this furniture. So she bought this stuff for them, which was kind of interesting. But
I'll be darned.
but just so you guys know, the lockers and the display cases are the 2 items that you did not accept as an alternative in the bids. That means that we have to procure them. The lockers, we've gotten 3-4 different vendors that have called us that we'll meet with.
You know, high school's getting new lockers. What do you think they're gonna do with all those that they have?
So we take a look at it too. The one question might be how big they are, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 18 inches is what might have been prescribed for the police, but it's kind
Yeah, I
of
don't
being
know which
reviewed
ones
by
they're
the police
replacing, if they're
committee.
the old,
Yeah.
the old narrow ones or if they're the wider ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I heard they're getting new lockers.
Yep. And Jerry did mention something about that, and I think they were going to check on it too. But then the display cases, you have the Historical Society, and then also the Scouts had come and talked to me last week. Talked about their display wishes and needs, and actually they had mentioned that there's a chance that they would be willing to kick in on the costs of these display cases too. So I went through the bidding on the specs for each of the display cases we had, and then with the space we had too. So that conversation is going to continue probably in the end of August. We'll pick that one back up on displays. But
Do we ever get any word from the Historical Society what type of space they're looking for? I thought that was.
yeah, so we did when I met with them last week. The one thing, the comment they had was when we bid out these display cases, we had bid them as being 12 inches deep, and the comment that they made was that they would like, or others have had, display cases that are 18 inches deep. Now, we didn't get into why that's important or why that's more valuable than, 12 to 18, other than the obvious fact that it's a little bit wider, But I did meet with them last week. We did talk about storage in the basement too, and what I had mentioned to them was that storage is not yet defined on how that's going to be split out. There's a lot of groups, for sure, that have sort of asked for storage space. And on the police end, we haven't really identified completely how much they're going to need. For evidence, for sure, that's going to be the main one. But just the update is that these are the three items. It's kind of the next focus now on items that we need to procure between now and sometime this fall. The upfront comment we got on furniture, so we're talking about chairs for the community room, chairs for the lobbies, like a podium type thing for the council room. What they had mentioned to us is that you'll want to buy it by January if you're looking at a May delivery, just to make sure that you would get it on time. And so we're well ahead of the game there.
Okay.
That's just a quick update. We're working on it yet. Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, Mayor? Mike?
No.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 7, the update on the property assessment valuation.
Yes, this is just a follow-up. We did get quotes last December on a full revaluation, which was something that had been tossed around by our assessor. And you will remember that Mr. Brown, Mark Brown, I believe, is the president of Associated Appraisal. He came to the committee meeting and he said, because we had the uncertainty in the spring where the state was looking at drastically changing the assessment procedure. They were talking about making the counties do it all as part of the budget. And if the counties would have been doing that, it would have taken effect in 2017 for the counties. We're also running with the state because our properties have not all been within 10%. The assessed value and the fair market value have not all been within 10% of each other. And if you get 4 years where they're not all within 10% in the same year, you end up being forced to complete a revaluation. Now the problem is the state set us a deadline of 2017 to be in compliance. And 2017, the thought was, well, if the potential for the counties to take that over, we were in sort of an uncertain period where we might have been forced to do something, but it also might have been taken away from us. The updates are that provision had been, it didn't pass with the state, so right now there are no plans for the municipalities to get out of the business of assessing. But the other thing that Mr. Brown had mentioned when he was here in the spring was that potentially you didn't have to take on a full revaluation. We might be close enough that you could do either a market update, which is sort of a desk update. They would complete it from their office based on sales and other info. Or they could do a drive-by exterior revaluation as opposed to the full, which would be going into homes and taking pictures and things like that. What Mr. Brown had mentioned was it looked like we were going to be very, very close to being in compliance this year for the first time in 4 or 5 years. And our commercial properties were the ones that were like at 10.1% out rather than being within 10%. And what they had advised the council and the committee was to wait until August, because in August the numbers start to come out to show you whether or not you're into compliance. And the thought was, and I believe Associated Appraisal mentioned, was once you find out you're out of compliance in August, you have enough time to do a desk update or an interim market update to get into compliance. That being said, we have put out to receive quotes on the interim market update and the exterior evaluation. So we're
Which is the
soliciting
bare minimum
quotes.
to do, right?
Right.
That's to qualify.
So, and where the full revaluation was somewhere in the $30,000 range, a desk update is like $8,000 to $10,000 typically. So it would be a savings. But basically, where we're at is we're waiting to get the numbers from the state. I believe they're supposed to come out today. So later this week, we'll get an update on whether we've come back into compliance. And from what I looked at real quick, it looked like we actually probably were into compliance, which means that we may not have to do anything right away.
Yeah, right.
If that's the case, it gets the state, it resets the clock where the state won't have to come in and do it for us and charge us double by 2017. If we're in compliance, that doesn't mean we probably shouldn't look at a revaluation at some point, though.
At what level?
And we'll take a look at
You know,
that. We'll take a look
what
at
level?
that. So right now, the update is that we're collecting quotes on the bare minimum that we have to do in the event that we find out that we have to do it. So, okay?
Very good. Moving on to item number 8, discussion on the 2016 budget trends.
Yep, this is just a real quick update because August, last month you approved the budget calendar. I think usually you had approved the calendar this month. We approved the calendar last month. August is really sort of an empty month on your end in that with staff, Jerry and I are kind of looking at our needs. I believe the police department had delayed the purchase of a squad car by 1 year. So 2015 would have been their purchase for a squad car. They delayed that at least a year, so that might be something we're looking at in early 2016, but that's a discussion for the budget. What I'm looking at right now is public works staffing, and also the public works pay scale, because the DNR changed their grades for operators, and the pay scale we put in was based on their grades. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I've gotten a couple hints that health insurance potentially could be headed up 20 to 25%, but we won't know that until September. And then our property insurance, the state, as part of the state budget, was closing the property fund, which is what we're a part of.
Yeah.
Now, there's a thought that it's maybe not closing as soon as what they had intended, but if they keep it open, they were going to raise rates by 80% next year. Now, we pay about $14,000 a year to insure our property. 80% would be, well over $20,000 we might be paying. So those are things that we take a look at. The League Insurance Company, though, has gotten together with 2 other publicly focused liability insurers, and they're creating their own property insurance. And what they're thinking is they could probably replace the property fund and give us comparable coverage, and rather than an 80-some% increase in our premium, it might be closer to 15 to 20%. So that's a thing we're looking at too. But like I said, August is really not a month to come to you guys, but it's just an update that we're working on the department level, and then looking out at our insurance and what we anticipate to change for next year too. So nothing too much to report other than that.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. The next item on our agenda is to approve checks number 31586 through 31678, totaling $328,024.13, and the monthly financial statements. I'm looking for a motion.
So move. So move.
Did you hear that, Keith?
No, what was that?
He's looking. We're on the bills now. So on the bills, and Mike had made a motion to approve, and then we're looking for a second.
Okay, I'll second it.
All in favor?
We'll do a roll call.
Aye.
We'll do the roll call vote on this. Yep. So roll call vote then would be Nadowski,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Kempf.
Aye.
Carries with all ayes.
Okay, next up is the administrator's report.
Just a quick update. This week we do have Heartland in, and after you approved the exchange email solution last month, this week is when we're converting from the old server to the brand new one, which is going to be very good. It will pay some dividends for us in that the old remote login that you guys had for email was spotty, whether it worked. I think it's 60-70% of the time it probably worked. A lot of times you'd have errors where you couldn't get to what you needed. But we are replacing that now, so that should be by the end of the week, we should have email up and running on the new server, and then we can get rid of the old server. And then we did get in touch with Fund Balance after you made the action to move forward with them for financial software. And with Heartland here this week, working on the server, we do have Fund Balance calling in and remoting in to load all the financial software
Nice.
onto the server this week. And then August 17th is when they're going to kick off with the training and getting. So in 2 weeks we'll get started on getting to the new software. So we'll definitely have it up and running by the end of the year, which will be a good thing.
Very
So I
good.
thank you for that, and the other staff do too. So should be a good thing. Other than that, that's pretty much all I've got. Like I said, we're working on the budget, and then just bi-weekly project meetings on City Hall and the treatment plant every other week. Pretty much every other Thursday, we've got sit-down meetings with the crews. So
Very good.
it's going pretty good.
Good, thank you. We'll move on to set the September finance meeting date and time.
Usually you meet the first Monday, but the first Monday in September is going to be Labor Day. So it's up to you guys. Are you looking at
Second Monday, but then combine that with,
yeah, I don't know that we've ever done that where I think typically we've just backed our meetings up in September, all of them, but because Finance and Public Works have sort of been meeting together, you could just hold them both
we
the
could.
second Monday.
So you
And then-
hold them both
Yeah.
that following Monday?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Keith.
Okay.
Mike, what do you
I'll
think?
look at that.
Does that work for you as well?
The following Monday?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Memorial Day, but then that next week, the next Monday,
Right.
we'll just
There's
dump.
no other meetings that are scheduled for the second Monday, are they?
No, it's just Public Works that meets the second Monday.
Yeah.
And that would be September 7th, I believe, is Labor Day. September 14th then?
Do it.
6 p.m. good, or
It's good for
Yeah,
me.
you're fine.
If it's good for Mike,
Yeah, it should be okay at
that hour.
do you want to move it like 6:30? I mean, either way, I think we're good.
No, we'll try 6.
Okay.
See once what.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Keith? September 14th?
Yep, I hear that.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is such other matters as authorized by law. I
Good
believe
enough.
we have any other issues. Then we will go into closed session pursuant to 19.85, Section 1C of the Wisconsin statutes. Consideration of employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any city employee who is subject to the jurisdiction or authority of the council. The reason for the closed session is to review city health insurance program for the 2016 budget and the administrator goals contract. The committee may choose to reconvene an open session at the completion of the closed session in order to take action on items from the closed session.
So do we have a motion then to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion. Go into closed session.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do a roll call to go into closed session. Nadowski,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
and Kemp.
All right.
And it is 7:32.